Hello, my name's Tony Matters. I design restaurants for a living. I've always been really interested in the backstory behind many of the successful people we work for. This is food for thought. This is me in conversation with leading chefs and restaurateurs. This first one is with Chef Adam Stokes at Adam's Restaurant in Birmingham. Okay, so I'm here in Adam's Restaurant in Birmingham. If you've not heard of Adam's, it's got 1 Michelin star. Adam Stokes, the chef, he's been in Birmingham for about 5 years. We actually designed this restaurant. We also designed his first one, which was just around the corner. So today we're going to sit down with Adam. We're going to have a chat and find out about his incredible journey. And just find out about the challenges and it should be really interesting. So I'm really pleased to be back. I think for me it would be interesting to kind of start at the beginning in a way. I mean, I'm interested, and I'm sure these guys are interested to find out what it was that got you interested in cooking and being a chef. You know, how did that kind of come about?
I think it came from the love of eating, really. Obviously, being quite a big chap, just really enjoyed food and when I was young, my mum couldn't keep up with all the food that I was eating, so obviously then I had to cook for myself. So just basic stuff, cheese on toast and pancakes and things like that. But and then so developed my sort of interest in cooking, then an ability to be able to do it. Nice. Obviously went to college, and just fell in love. It was just like a calling, and it was a bit of a naughty boy as well when I was younger. And it just kept me busy, kept me occupied, really. Nice.
And was there a point? I mean, what sort of age did you think actually this is the thing that I really want to do?
I think it must have been about 15 or 16. My college course was a BTEC National Diploma in Hospitality, Catering and Institutional Management. So there's a whole job lot there. Yeah. And at that stage, obviously, I was learning about the laundry, the finances, and all this sort of stuff that goes along with running a business, hotel, restaurant, whatever. But it was purely food at that stage, obviously.
And your first proper job after that?
Hambleton Hall.
Really? So you went straight from
almost. I was in a part-time job all the way through college, and then I stayed there for about 6 months, 9 months. Saved up money, learned to drive. Did a few bits and pieces, and then kept on going back to Hambleton as well. I wanted to make sure that the move was right, where I wanted to be was correct. Yeah, I went for three trials, 3 interviews. Nice. Got offered a job each time, turned it down twice. Because it's bizarre. I didn't like it. I went there and started at 7 o'clock in the morning, worked all day, finished at midnight, got home at 1 o'clock in the morning. It's like, what are these guys doing? What are they right? And the food element was great, but it was just so tiring and laborious. So it took 2 times. And the third time I went back, it's just like, I wanted to cook. I knew that this is what I wanted to do. Yeah. And then took the leap. And
so you took it very seriously from quite a young age, though.
Yeah, 100%. I had fun in my early teens, and I was and then just suddenly something clicked. And I went, hang on a minute, I need to do something, and that was it.
Right. And how long were you there at Hambleton?
7 years. Wow. Yeah, so started as a commie, left as sous chef.
next big move, I believe, was up to Glenapp Castle.
That's right, yeah, up to Glenapp. 5 years there, first head chef's position. That was great. You know, it's very quiet, very sleepy Scottish castle. Yeah. But no, it really sort of developed me and honed my style. Obviously, I've been cooking someone else's food, and then it was coming on to developing my menus, my food, my style.
And it's just, I mean, 26 is to me seems quite young as a head chef. I mean, is that the case in the industry, that it's? I mean, certainly back then it was.
Yeah, it's younger. It's younger than I. Looking back on it, yes, I was. Was it too early? Maybe a fraction. I was ready. You know, the first 6 months of my role at Glenapp was a shock. It was a real. Oh, hang on a minute. This is. Yeah. No, it's probably some of the hardest days in my career.
Because there were aspects to the role that you'd just not realised, or
yeah, and also I had to have my whole repertoire of food immediately. I wasn't taking over for anyone. The castle closes for 3 months throughout the winter period, which is very quiet. So you walk into an empty kitchen, empty fridges, and 3-4 members of staff that I've never met before.
Going,
exactly. We had 2 or 3 days worth of prep, and then first service, and just looking at the guy on sauce, going, "Oh, can you, John? You know, I can't. You know, is it? You know, it was a bizarre scenario, and very unique. But yeah, 5 years on, very, very pleased. My wife, Natasha.
I was going to say, I mean, Natasha. I don't know if I can say this. Natasha, who you very much worked with, obviously for as long as I've known you, and she is like a force of nature in a way. I mean,
she's very formidable. Yes,
she's a woman who she knows what she wants, and she's going to get it. And you know, working with you both as I have, I've seen, you know, how well you work as a team, how you do a bit of a good cop bad cop thing at times, which always works well. And I mean, when did that? Did the professional relationship start first with Natasha, or I mean, how did that sort of?
She was when I was at Hambleton, she was at Oakham School, and then she went to Leicester University to do a degree in physics and astrophysics, of all things. So yeah, she did that for three or 4 years, which is then her course finished at the same sort of time as I was looking, and then she worked for a father's business as well. So she was learning some more business aspects, which was in the period before, after she'd finished and before I'd finished. So obviously then we were looking for my job. We wanted to have a family, you know, so we knew that my career had to sort of take precedence. And then I got a job in Scotland, and she had to come up. She didn't have to, obviously. I asked her, and she chose to come up.
And then your next big move again was all the way down to sunny Birmingham, and obviously that's where I met you both, and you did your first, what was I suppose described as a pop-up. It was a 2-year pop-up, and you know, now looking at it, it was hugely successful. I mean, what I suppose interesting. Why Birmingham? What was the thinking behind it?
We wanted to open a certain style of restaurant. We looked at a few places in London, and rent's very unattractive, and yeah, I didn't get the feeling. Also, there's more competition. So yeah, Birmingham, second biggest city, on the up. Obviously, there's lots of investment going into Birmingham at the moment, and just thought, you know what, there's a really nice feel about it. So we started coming down from Scotland, staying in some of the hotels, eating out in some of the restaurants, just trying to get a feel for what's going on. Started talking to some building landowners in Edgbaston. We actually drew up plans on 2 doors down from Simpsons, and got a great feel about it. It was really, really good. And obviously then speaking to other people that put us in touch with others, and yeah, we were wouldn't compromise, and that was our problem. That's why it took so long.
Yeah.
We wouldn't compromise on some aspects because we knew that they were crucial to be a success.
Yeah.
So yeah, going from Edgbaston, which didn't come to fruition. Then we went to look at a few places in Birmingham city centre. The Grand was the main focus, and that was. It just wasn't ready. It wasn't. The whole process was taking a different, taking a different timescale to the one that we had. So then we got on really well with Hortons, who were the owners of the Grand, and we started looking through their portfolio of properties with a bit more of an open mind. And then came this small little unit that was a sandwich shop. There was just something about it that we just went, you know what, this is it. This is how we're going to start. Because we wanted to do big restaurant first off, and yeah, we could get ourselves known in Birmingham. We could get a clientele base together. We could learn. Everything was new to us.
And of course, you got your start within 6 months, which is of course.
So we knew that we had to put it in a certain product to please the people that we were wanting to please, and also the price point where we are. In theory, we could have said, yeah, we're a pop-up restaurant and charge you 20-30 quid for your main course, for your menu, and you can sit on some stools and sit on a trestle table or whatever, but we didn't. We went in with proper kit, proper stuff. And then in light of that, we focused on the food. So that was all fit out sorts of stuff, and then became the food, which was the product that I'd been developing up at Scotland, and then Michelin star, 5 months.
And then following that, which is, I think, by anyone's standards, I think you would say it is a flagship restaurant. It's split over 3 floors. You've got we're on the ground floor here. You've got a main dining room. We're just sat in the private dining room, which can be kind of closed off or opened up, and it's it's a fantastic space. You've got a lower ground floor kitchen, chef's table, the kind of proper theatre of the kitchen, and then on the what is the basement level, although because it's a sloping site, when you go around the back it's at ground floor level, you've got possibly the largest staff room on earth, full of sofas and all of that, which is great, and so I mean for you, I know this is this was the culmination of lots and lots of hard work. I mean, how has this been for you since opening the restaurant and running it?
It's been very good. It's very tough and very challenging. But from a it has been successful. We have achieved what we wanted to achieve in relation to the business, the style of clientele, etc., etc. In theory, the hard work. I always say to Natasha, she spends, we spend a lot of time developing it and designing it, thinking it through, walking through the whole building, making sure that it is how we want it to be. We've got a fantastic platform to play on, as it were, and then now we run a business. We manage nearly 40 members of staff, it's been
and probably a recent thing that you've done, which is interesting, is you've taken on Tom, head chef, who was previously with Sat Baines in Nottingham.
Yep,
so how does that fit in? I mean, that must be interesting for you. I mean, it's obviously the first time you've done this. So how is that?
Previously, I had a chap who was with me up in Scotland for a year. Then he came down. He was with me all the way throughout the pop-up, and then made a transition over here. So I'd always had a decent amount of support from there. And then I think it was just a natural progression. It was just developing, and we're always wanting to move forward, and we wanted to develop. And this was, I noticed for this to continue to develop and to continue to progress, I need some help, I need some support, you know, working ridiculously stupid hours, and then I was getting pulled over here, pulled over there. It's like, hang on a minute, I need to have the support where I need it. So obviously we're looking at the business side of it, we're looking at the kitchen side of it, and yeah, Tom's been a great addition. Yeah, we're four months in, really solidified the team. You know, the kitchen team's a phenomenal unit now, really strong, as they always have been, but in a different way. And this is now, you know, he's obviously got a great opportunity to be able to get his name out there as well. We're a busy restaurant. Exposure's huge as well. So he's got a great opportunity to be able to develop himself. This is his first head chef's job, so he comes from great pedigree. But then obviously doing it for yourself. Doing it, you know, as a head chef is a completely different thing.
I think in terms of where you're at now and where you see yourself going, I mean, I know you're a busy chap and you don't have much time. Have you got any specific plans for the future, or have you got any sort of general aspirations? Are you actually looking to take your foot off the gas and be at home watching Jeremy Kyle a bit more, or what?
Definitely not. Someone once said to me, "Oh, you'll be living the dream, you know, 5 years' time we'll be sat on the sofa doing," you know, exactly that. And it's just, no, that scares me really. Yeah, we want to progress, want to develop, we always want to see that we're doing something new. I say making these appointments with obviously Tom in the kitchen, you know, helps secure this to make sure that this is running exactly how it should do, because this is the flagship. You know, this is the most important thing. Regardless of anything that we do, this cannot go wrong. You know, it can't. And yeah, we will. I don't know. We'll see where it takes us really. But no, we always want to be moving forward.
Brilliant. One last question: what piece of advice would you give to a young chef who's, you know, maybe just starting out, just thinking of a career in this industry? I mean, it's probably more than ever now. It's on the telly, it's on social media. It's kind of almost a boom industry in a way. What piece of advice would you give to a youngster who's looking to maybe emulate yourself or achieve success?
There's loads of pieces. Get into the right kitchen, because that's what's going to develop you and progress the chef, as it were, you know, to get them to where they want to be. It's a phenomenal industry. There's lots of negativity about all this sort of stuff, which is not the industry anymore. We run a really, really nice kitchen. There's no screaming, shouting, no aggressive swearing. You know, there's nothing like that anymore. Those era is gone.
That's the end of our chat with Adam. So I hope you found that interesting, and check back soon.